Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in with us tonight. You're here in the Ladies Lounge with Jazz and T, and we have a special guest that decided to grace us with his presence again, Mr. Faraji Toure. I did an interview with him when T was out having fun. So I did an interview with him, but unfortunately, only like the first 7 minutes actually streamed, guys. We had like a bad connection, but we didn't even know until we were all the way done with the interview. So again, thank you for joining us here in the Ladies Lounge. And we actually want to talk about the subject that we were talking about last time because obviously you guys didn't hear us finishing up or anything after the first 7 minutes, which was self-actualization versus self-deception. Okay, yep. So that's what we were talking about. So if you wouldn't mind, kind of like, we're going to kind of probably repeat. But first, could you tell people who you are, what you do?
My name is Faraji Toure. I'm an author and speaker.
Okay. Well, where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Newark, New Jersey originally.
Okay.
But I've lived tons of places. I've lived in California, Atlanta, down in Houston.
Okay, and what made you get into doing this as your career, your lifestyle? Like, what led you to this?
You know what it was? Outside of doing, again, technology, I've been in the technology field for over 20 years, or just about 20 years. But there was a seed in my spirit to write a book. I've always been a writer. I've written poetry. I started to get hired to speak. Hired to write. So I was in the process of writing another book. It was called Thoughts of the Thoughtful. It was just supposed to be a collection of my published and unpublished articles. But it was another seed in my spirit to write. So I ended up just scrapping that project and writing a book that I have published now, which is called Diary of a Conscious Believer.
And just a little bit, what is that book about? Just if people want to look into it.
Diary of a Conscious Believer pretty much notes my questions about the Bible and religion. I've studied religion in depth, theology in depth, and I just had some questions in regards to the Bible and how religion and faith kind of don't add up sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
So I just posed a few questions to provoke the reader to kind of research the things that they believe in, and I invited that dialogue.
Okay, perfect.
That's cool. So, like, what would be one question that you had? Maybe not a question that's in the book, but like one that you really would like for people to think about.
Is the things that the way we were taught to worship God don't coincide all the time with the Bible. Mm-hmm. So one of the biggest things that I talk about in the Bible is the story about Nimrod, which is where we get Christmas from. So in the Bible, it specifically tells you not to celebrate Christmas, but people still celebrate Christmas, but they say, I'm a believer. And then when you challenge those beliefs, they say, well, it's for the kids. Well, if you're a believer, a follower of Christ or whatever religion, and it tells you not to do something, why do you do it? So my issue is a lot of people don't read for themselves. They don't read the Bible for themselves.
Or they misunderstand it.
Right.
Not even misunderstand it. In order to have a conversation, a good conversation, you have to read whatever you believe in totality. You just can't pick out a section here to go along with your beliefs because the Bible or any holy book is pretty much a mirror. So if you pick it apart that way, if you want to find a reason to hate me, you're going to find it in the Bible. If you want to find a reason to love me, you're going to find it in the Bible. Mm-hmm. But once you read the book in its totality, you'll get a greater understanding. A lot of people pick apart things to, what's the word I'm looking for, to kind of validate what they're feeling, what they're going through, instead of reading it as a whole. That's my overall big aha book is to point out that fact.
Okay, perfect. So if you want to hit him up about his book and everything, that gives you a little detail of what his book is about. So going into today's topic, what made you come up with, because today is WCW, Wild Card Wednesday, where we pick, what someone wants to discuss. So what made you want to discuss this topic?
It's my core speaking topic. That's basically it. It's my core speaking topic because I believe it's important to self-actualize. And self-actualization is the realization of one's talents and or potentialities. I believe the definition is. And that's important for us to realize, the potential that we have. Because everybody has potential. You have potential to not be anything at all, or you have potential to be great. And it's about finding that that core within yourself to propel you to be great, opposed to being nothing at all.
All right, and how do I know this might be crazy because not crazy, but how do you find it? Like starting from young to adulthood, like where does that start?
It starts from paying attention to yourself. A lot of times, what we speak about passionately is our purpose. So the things that we speak about, like in normal dialect, if you find yourself passionate about a topic that you ain't ready to engage anybody in, that's pretty much your purpose. Now, I never wanted to delve into the realm of religion or faith, but I spoke so passionately about it because I studied it in depth. That became my purpose. So although I did not want that to be my calling, that's exactly what I did have to speak about. So it's crazy when you think that you're opposing faith in my example, but then I get hired by a lot of churches to come in and speak on that topic. So.
Okay. And what you saying that when me asking that question, I guess I understand because, like I said, what you talk about more, what you engage in more, what you feel that you're conversating more with people or sharing information. And I guess mine would be more just, I mean, overall, you could just say life situations, but I guess if going all into detail, just, just being what you went through as childhood, being a single parent, having kids at a young age, making it through, out of a divorce and, finding love again and everything. And I guess when you find your passion of what you feel you can engage with, that's what you that's what you talk about.
10 times out of 10, that's your purpose. That's what you're passionate about at your core. So when you self-actualize, you really pick yourself apart. You pick yourself apart to find your talents and your potential. You know what I mean? So understanding that, you can basically put a title on it. You can organize that, and then that's what you can speak about. So when I hear topics like that, normally I think about friends of mine that go into the women's youth facilities and talk about the hardships and how you can overcome them. Like, listen, I have a child at a young age. I've been molested. I've been whatever that is. And you help them see that in themselves, because a lot of times we feel that we are alone, because people innately back away from people. When you start to go through things, you don't want to answer the phone, you don't really want to hang out, you innately back away from people because one, you don't want to be a burden on anybody else. But that also leads you to think that, hey, I might be in this alone. So just having somebody like, listen, I've been where you are, I came out. You know what I mean? I'm gonna show you how to get out. These are the steps that I took. Now we're gonna tailor it for you to get out. That situation.
Right. So when you're going through that process of trying to self-actualize, is that the word? Actualize?
Yeah.
Sound like I'm missing some letters. But when you're going through that process of figuring out your purpose and basically who you are, but you still stick to, when you're figuring out who you are, but you still stick to who you are right now. What I'm saying, like, okay, just like we talk about being who you are in real life versus who you are on who you're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? On social media. So how do you make that transition? Because a lot of people, like I said last week, a lot of people may speak to where they're going. Like they're not actually there, but that's where they see themselves going. But then a lot of people don't even see themselves going. They just post because it's popular or it's the it thing to do. So how do you marry the two?
First you have to be honest with yourself. That's the whole thing. You have to turn off social media. You have to turn off, because let me say this: people lie up. Normally when people lie, they lie toward the person that they want to be. You know what I mean? So you have a broke person saying that I got money. You have a person who doesn't have anything that wants to acquire a lot of things. You know what I mean? So they lie up. You know, so they lie for the person that they want to be. And again, it starts with being honest with yourself. You have to understand, hey, listen, I don't have a lot of money. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. That's the problem. What's the solution? So you have to come up with a solution. So you have to really be honest with yourself. Because a lot of times it comes from us trying to compete with each other. Oh, you got a new car, let me go get a new car. I might not be able to afford it. You know what I mean? My new car might be sitting in next year. But I'm going to break my neck to go ahead and buy this new car. I'm going to go buy these shoes. I'm going to go buy the things that I need because I want to compete. You have to get rid of all those things and be honest with yourself. Like, this is the state that I'm in and I want to be here. So then you map it out. It's easy to talk about, oh yeah, I'm gonna be rich next year. How are you gonna be rich?
Mm-hmm.
What's your plan to be rich?
Right.
How will you step-by-step process to be rich? Okay, I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna save my money.
Right.
I'm gonna get X amount of jobs or whatever the case is.
Right.
Those are step-by-step processes, and you have to do the same thing when you self-actualize.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the realization of talents. What talents do you have? You know what I mean? Everybody, oh, I got to hustle. I need a hustle to get on. But you don't have to struggle. You know, everybody don't need a hustle. You can come up with a certified plan to get to where you got to go. You know what I mean?
Right.
Without the struggle. I mean, you're going to struggle to some degree because change, you know, brings on struggle to some degree.
Right.
But, you know, a certified plan. So that includes picking yourself apart, being honest with yourself.
Okay, so what about the ones, you know, the people which I would be a candidate for it, that knows it, that can see it, but that's scared or have a fear or had a fear of jumping out of what was their purpose?
Okay, so you have to understand what your fear is rooted in.
Okay.
So what is your fear rooted in? Why are you afraid?
All right. A lot of my fear was, okay, not telling my story, or you know what I'm saying, or not being able to relate with people, but I guess also, and I don't even want to say an image, because I don't think I have an image where I want people to look at me a certain way. I really don't think that, because I'm a real talkative person.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it was more of, you know, how people thought
Perceived you.
Yes.
Yes.
So where it was like, oh, I didn't know that about her.
Right. So your,
you know what I'm saying?
your
Until you got
fear,
to know me.
Your fear is rooted in shame.
And okay, shame, say that.
Because you know once you put your story out there, people judge you. People will have something to say. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I had the same thing. Like, listen, I think I told you the last show. I lived such a crazy life when I was younger. My fear was I'm not going to get rich. I'm going to stay behind the camera because the minute I get rich, somebody's going to come out the woodwork. Oh, you know what? He used to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, there you go. I found him. So now I know where to find him. Yeah, you know, it's been 20 some odd years, but now I found him. So that was my fear. So after you realize, like, nobody's really paying attention to me like that. And then there's so many people that go through the same thing you go through.
Right.
You know what I mean? Same thing. You're not alone. Right. So when you like, I tell everybody that, you know, somebody's breakthrough is tied to the testimony that you're scared to tell. Once you tell your story, somebody like, okay, I'm not alone. I'm gonna tell my story.
Right.
Like when I was always ashamed of dealing with depression and post-traumatic stress disorder after the military. And then one day I'm scrolling through social media and this lady, she put this long post up and it resonated with me. I'm like, wow, she was so strong in doing it. And I said, let me tell my story while the spirit is in me to tell my story. Right. So I wrote my story in my inbox. Google, oh, I deal with depression too, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. And then the influx of resources began to come in. You know what I mean? But I thought I was by myself. It was my shame. You know, I didn't want, you know, because nobody want to say that you have a disorder. Something is wrong with you. Right. That's what we associate with disorder. Something is wrong with you.
Right.
So me having to fight depression, you know, have friends and family, you know, pretty much dragging me by the ankle. No, you're not sitting in this depression. You getting out. You know, we're gonna get out and do stuff like that. So those are the battles that we face. But you have to understand that you are not alone. There's somebody going through the same thing or even worse than what you've been through.
Or even having somebody say, ain't nothing wrong with you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with you. Get yourself together. Ain't nothing wrong with you.
And that's the last thing you want to do because growing up, because, you know, oh, the devil trying to get this and, you know, that's the devil. You know, that's a spirit on you. But I needed help. I needed to understand why I was depressed. And my depression came from loss. I've suffered a lot of loss in my life. Mm-hmm. And it always hurt me when people turned away from me and I didn't know why. Mm-hmm. So you start to feel like you're not good enough. What did I do wrong? Mm-hmm. And you internalize that. So when somebody turned away and left me, I mean, I was broke down. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you don't understand that as a child. But as you grow and you kind of understand yourself, you understand like it has nothing to do with me.
Right.
You know, that's my fear. But again, it's not me. Those people turned away for whatever reason, or they passed away, or, you know, that was outside of my control.
Right.
Yeah, those are amazing. That's an amazing statement. That was a really good question and answer session. Right? I want to check in with the audience real quick. Thank you, Primo, for joining. Felicia, honey, I see you got 2 questions. Thank you, Randy, for joining. Felicia wants to know what separates a self-lie from a self-affirmation.
A self-lie? Oh, wow.
But
Okay.
is that kind of with the self-deception what we were talking about?
Okay, so self-deception has two parts. Again, you can tell yourself a bunch of things. You can tell yourself that I'm not struggling, I'm not suffering. That's self-deception. You're deceiving yourself.
Right.
If you are living paycheck to paycheck, you are deceiving yourself. If you can't maintain healthy relationships, you can't maintain a job, you have to look inside yourself. So that's the negative side. That's not affirmation at all. That's a lie that you're telling yourself. Oh, they didn't want me for the X amount of reason. That might be true, but if it keeps happening, the problem is with you. You know what I mean? So self-affirmation is pouring positive words into yourself. I'm a great person. You're speaking affirmation. I'm going to get this job. You're not going around telling people, hey, listen, I'm an engineer. You're not an engineer. You're a cook. You're flipping burgers at McDonald's.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's the difference between self-deception and affirmation. Affirming something like, I have greatness within me. I have a positive outlook on life. Nothing is going to get to me that day. That's affirming. Those things, if you're telling yourself like, listen, I lost 5 pounds and you ain't lost none.
Right.
You're lying to yourself. That's the difference.
Right.
Okay,
right.
we have another question. Is it really a lie, or do we become that lie when we fail to act out on our faith? Lie.
Repeat that again?
Is it really a lie? She said, let me ask, is it really a lie? Or do we become that lie when we fail to act out our faith? Lie.
Oh, is it a lie? She said, or we become that lie when we fail to act on our lies.
No.
That's what she's saying? Because she said, lie.
Well, there's a clear difference despite where that statement is going. If acting out on faith, because everybody knows that faith without works is dead.
Yes.
So, but you're not lying. You know what I mean? So if you're claiming, I'm gonna get that house, I'm gonna do everything I need to do. That house is mine. Uh-huh. You're not telling everybody that, hey, listen, I got a house on the hill up there. I paid X amount of dollars for it. Come through for a barbecue, and it still got a for sale sign up front. You know what I mean? Again,
right.
If you're affirming that you're claiming that house, you're speaking it into the universe. But the work part of it, that's your faith. The work part of it is, I got my credit straight, I got the down payment good. I'm talking to a realtor right now. Mm-hmm. And then, but that's the thing, speaking things before they actually happen. I can't, I got this house, and then the deal falls through. Now you're looking like a dummy. You know what I mean? That's right. The difference. It's okay to act out on that faith, but again, the lie is telling people that you have a house and you don't have a house. You're sitting in an apartment somewhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's the difference.
Right.
So act on your faith. If you claim a house, do whatever you need to do. You're not just sitting around like, okay, well, Lord, I claim this house. Ain't nobody giving it to me yet.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Awesome. True. Okay, well, let's see. When you're speaking your positive words of affirmation, and you claim it to be what it is before it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
But then even if it actually becomes what it is, and you still kind of like lying to yourself about what it really is. What I mean is, okay, so just say if I say I'm getting a house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I speak it, claim it, all that good stuff, I'm getting a house. But really, it's not my house, I'm renting it.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so it's like you're saying I'm getting a house. You got
people thinking you buying this house.
Well, that comes down to semantics. That's just the words that you use. You know what I mean?
Right.
I know
is that deception?
Yeah.
Yes.
I had a very good friend of mine kept always, my mortgage. I'm just like, you pay rent.
Right. Why
are you saying mortgage? It does not make you less of a person if you're renting.
Right.
If you want to purchase, put a plan in action to buy the damn house. You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't start, my mortgage is $1,800.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, no, that's not the case. You're paying rent. It's okay if you I rented a house at one point in time. I never told nobody it was a mortgage. I just didn't have those conversations.
Right.
As long as that grill fired up when you came over.
And you got a roof, a place to lay your head.
If you can't buy, that's fine. Live in your truth. That's the thing. Live in your truth.
Right.
If you're renting, enjoy the rent that the place that your rent provides you, man.
Right.
You don't have to lie about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That was a good question.
I was trying to figure out how to say it because it sounded like I was about to, because both of you always had these question marks on your face, like I don't know where that's going.
No, that was a good way. That was a good way to put it. So today we're in the studio with Faraji Toure, and we're discussing self-accusation and self-deception. What is your truth? What is your real life? Do you deceive yourself? Do you deceive others? But before you can be real with others, you gotta be real with yourself.
Yeah.
And that is such an interesting word, that whole word real. Everybody keeps it real.
Yeah.
Everybody's so real.
And at the end of the day, nobody, at some point in your life you didn't. I don't care. At some point in your life you did not keep it real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So all that, I keep it real, I'm 100, you know what I'm saying?
Everybody's done did some lame stuff before.
Right.
Everybody told a lie. Everybody, you know what I mean? It's nonsense. But the thing is, if you see where you are in error, fix it. That's it. You fix it. I mean, you know, some people are afraid to tell people that they struggle because they don't want to be judged. They comparing themselves to some people. But everybody goes through things or is going through things. And I tell people that all the time. You know, you can't be ashamed or you can't judge somebody else because you don't know what they did to get what they got. You don't know what they're doing to maintain what they have. You know what I mean? So live in your truth. If I can't afford the Benz, I'm rocking my Honda. You know what I mean? That's just what that is. And you can't feel no type of way because the people around you are driving nice cars. They could be suffering behind those material things that they chase. But the truth in that statement is, the more people are empty on the inside, they acquire a lot of things. The mass, you know, what they have going on. Remember last time I talked about the guy with the house? He had a real nice house. The house was damn near glass. I mean, he had these big garage doors, but when you walked in, all he had was a sleeping bag and a 13-inch TV on the floor. That's all he could afford. But his car was nice, his house was nice, but he had no money to do anything else. So, you know, you don't want to live like that. You know, you want to be able to invite people over, have a couch to sit on, some food to eat. You know, you might have to downgrade sometimes. You know, set back for a setup. You know.
So how do you? Okay, so just say if you've lived this life of deception for so many years, you know what I'm saying, where everybody thinks everything is all good based on what you put on social media or based on what they see, like the man with the glass house. How do you make that turnaround? Like, how do you get over all that pride and all that ego and make that turnaround?
When everybody see the real you.
Well, if everybody see the real, then you have no choice because people that see behind that see that you're struggling. You have to make a choice. You have to make a decision. And everybody know once you make a decision, the universe will conspire to help you out. So if I was living this lie and I had to start downgrading, two things are going to happen. Either I'm going to have a real conversation with those people around me. Listen, I was lying. You know what I mean? This is what it is now. I need your help to move. You know what I mean? Let me get $20 for gas or whatever the case is. Or people tend to back away and create another lie to cover up the ship. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, you know, I lost my job and I had to downgrade and blah, blah, blah. Whatever works for you. As long as it gets you to your truth, I'm not going to split hairs about it. But the thing is operating and living, you know, living in your truth. You know what I mean? If you're living beyond your means, scale back. Cut the cell phone plan down, turn off cable, stop shopping.
Go to Netflix and chill.
Get a Chromecast, get a Fire Stick or something, and save yourself some money, man. Never on TV anyway. So, absolutely. That's how you do that.
That's you're 100% right. So we're gonna take a little break, about 2-3 minute break.
Make sure you like, comment, and share this video. Make sure you tune back in. We all good on the reception. Okay, so you're gonna get the second half of this video today. All right. So make sure you go ahead, refresh whatever you got to do, and join us back here in the Ladies Lounge with Jazz and T. Special guest Faraji Toure
On Jetsonz Radio, Washington D.C.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Ladies Lounge with Jazz and T and our special guest, Faraji Toure. And we are talking about self-actualization versus self-deception. So, we got a lot of good information earlier. He was, giving us some good stories and some good pointers on how to become, living in your truth, your authentic self and your truth versus, lying to yourself, basically the long and short of it.
Right.
So for self-actualization, like what tips do you recommend for people to comfortably come to grips with their truth and actually live it?
Okay. So, in order to self-actualize, you know what I'm talking about.
No, right?
I always get tongue-tied on
I know. Trust me, I would too.
You have to strip away some things in your life. You have to understand that you are not your profession. You are not, what you drive. You are not what you wear. You are not your network of friends. You are an individual. You have to, get to the core of who you are as a person. So that's the first thing. So once you get rid of all of those things, you can deal with yourself at its core. And again, you'll use different terms to identify yourself, opposed to, I'm a doctor, I belong to this organization, I'm a Benz driver, I'm a whatever the case is. You have to dive into whether or not I'm a controlling person, I'm a jealous person, I'm a happy person, I'm a passionate person. You have to identify yourself with those type of words first, and then you can move forward.
So when you introduce yourself, it's okay to say, "Hey, I'm Jasmine, but I'm crazy and neurotic."
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right.
No, but you wouldn't introduce yourself that way, but you would deal with yourself that way. You really have to take a hard look at yourself. You have to take a hard look at the situations, because again, I had a conversation and in this men's group, and the men's group was like they never met a female who admitted that she messed up a relationship. It's always the man.
Oh wow! See, and that's crazy because
right.
That's crazy because
You know what relationship?
I had. I would always say it was both of us.
See,
regardless of who was more of doing this and doing that.
Right. But you took ownership. You took ownership. See, but that's a rarity. That's absolutely a rarity. But you have to.
I just take the blame as long as it's over.
Right. Yeah. True. I mean, I've done that too. But when you self-actualize, you have to dive into who you are. These situations that you want to change. It's the realization of your talents and potentialities.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, you have to get rid of all of the deception to get to your core truth, and then you start to build on the parts of you that you want to grow.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you want to be more of a compassionate person, you don't want to be, so much of a controlling person, you may have to go seek help. You may have to have somebody give you an unbiased view of yourself to tackle these things, because your friends will sugarcoat some stuff. You may have some friends that might tell it to you raw, but if you're not ready to receive that, then you're not going to receive it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the thing is to understand who you are as a person outside of your titles, outside of the things that you think make you you, and deal with it on that aspect.
Right. And also, too, I think what you just said, you got to be able to receive the information that's going to come to you, because even if you don't seek professional help, that the real you is going to shine through, and then you're not going to like what you see because you're trying to change.
Right.
If that's really what you're actively trying to do.
Yeah, and everybody covers their mistakes up, cover their faults up. We constantly deflecting, we're constantly blaming other people for our mistakes, our hang-ups. And that's not conducive to a healthy lifestyle, because you'll always be chasing that lie. You'll always be telling that lie, and you'll never get to understand who you are as a person, and then ultimately you'll never reach your highest self. You'll never reach your highest self lying to yourself. I'm going to blow a check at the club. You're going to stay in that cycle of being broke. You know what I mean? If you're spending your money before you even get it on, hey, I'm going to get this, I'm going to do this, X, Y, and Z, and you don't come with a formidable plan to save money, to invest money, you're going to stay in that cycle. If you're constantly blaming your partner for your relationships messing up, you don't have time to deal with yourself. So, okay, well, I could have handled that better. Let me work on my communication skills. Let me work on, as a man, being more of a leader, be a provider. McDonald's ain't cutting it, so let me see if I need to get 2 jobs, or let me step out and get a better job.
Right.
Once you're real with yourself, you're able to deal with yourself.
Right.
And a lot of people don't do that.
Right. So what about like the social media thing? Because of course
it's taking over the world.
Yeah, it is. And I think we all have some guilt to it, but at the same time, everybody don't. Like we was talking during the break, like you said, some people don't post pictures until they're on a vacation,
right,
or until they look nice and hair done or whatever the case may be. What you think about, of course that's self-deception, because them people don't want to be seen as down and out. But I mean, ain't too many people gonna really post like, oh, I'm broke, I don't have no food to cook. But I mean, just saying, ain't nobody really gonna do that. But at the same time, you can post a picture without having makeup on. You can post a picture without having your hair cut, or your beard growing in, or you can post a picture with you just running to the store if you want. You know what I'm saying? You have ones that can do that. You can have ones that's sweating and, just woke up out of bed. Whatever the case is, sweating like you're just working out at the gym. But what you think about the ones that cannot do that? It only has to be a glamour picture. And I'm not just talking about females. Trust me, I'm talking about men as well. But it always have to be a glamour picture all the time.
Okay, so with those situations, whether people know it or not, that's a form of deception. Not saying that you have to give your life over to the world to see, but people innately do it. I just want to post a picture because I want people to see me shine. I want people to see me happy. You know what I mean? As positive as I am or happy as I am half the time, I'm not 100% happy all the time. I'm not walking around looking all crazy with this crazy grin and just greeting people. Sometimes I have my down moments. But as people dealing with social media, that's what we do. We post pictures when we're on vacation. We got the new car. We got this. Even, those fake it till you make it people. They're standing in front of other people's cars or standing in front of other people's houses, wearing their friends' clothes because they want to shine. They want to give people the impression that I'm okay, I'm doing well. And we spoke before that even when people are broke, they stay shopping because it makes them feel good. So getting that validation from somebody, so there's nobody that don't post on social media that has some percentage of wanting validation. See me, look at me, I'm doing good, I look good, notice me.
Which, I guess that was I don't know if that was the purpose of it. I guess.
To socialize.
Yeah, socialize, keep in touch with friends and family, post pictures, what you're doing.
Right.
But I guess it just went to the extreme.
Yes, indeed it did.
But we can't even really blame it because it was already at the extreme. Because, like you said, there are people that can't go to the grocery store with no makeup on. There are people that can't be seen with their scarf on. Or, you know what I'm saying? Everything always has to look perfect. I mean, there are people that's walking around here with the Gucci and the Louis, but
I know people that's like that before even social media.
That's what I'm saying.
Like they just can't be seen out in public a certain way. Period.
Right. And exactly. But that's how it is with social media.
Like I said, to each his own. Because I can wear a scarf I can run out with a scarf. But I have friends that be like, no, you ain't gonna catch with a scarf. You don't know who I'm gonna meet. It's like you don't know who I can see.
Right.
You don't know who I can run to. Which I get it. You might could run into. I'm going to say the president, not meaning the president right now, but, people say, I could run into the president, you don't know who you're going to see. But then it's like, if I do, I'm going to just be like, you caught me at a bad time.
I'm not going to say nice to meet you. I'm
going to you have control over it. You know what I mean? Just like social media. Like, well, you don't have control over it if you go to the store and you run into somebody who's looking like Celia. You know what I mean? That's you don't have control over that.
Right.
But in a platform like social media where you have control, nobody is really gonna, post like, people will post, who's gonna take me to lunch? I'm broke, whatever the case is. You're looking for some type of interaction. You know what I mean? So you can't, you have control over that and you're using it for those means. So everybody puts this polished image of themselves up, no matter what's going on. And then you even have some people going for the sympathy plea. I say, if you could post a picture or a video of you crying, ain't nothing wrong with you. You got the camera up and you boo-hooing and stuff like that, and then you posting it, you ain't that distraught. You know what I mean? You're really not that distraught. But on the flip side of that, if you're just posting whatever you're posting, and this goes to people's perception of you, you know what I mean? So whatever they see, they make up in their mind who you are, and that's their impression of you. You know what I mean? So you're not deceiving anybody if that's not your intention. But people will see you, make a judgment on you, and deal with you accordingly. Like a lot of times people think that I'm some reverend or some pastor, and then I get a lot of women saying, "Oh, I'll be a nice first lady of what church? I don't go to church." You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let these Bible verses fool you. You know what I mean? Like, if you affirming and being positive, or people see you doing good, like I see, like again in this men's group, it was talking about women, how they look on social media. Then you meet them in person, and they don't look like that.
That's deception.
Right. But again, even if she's attractive, people are going to put the best picture of themselves. Or she might got the color context in. She got a nice long weave going. But when you see her, she might be a little darker than her pictures because she ain't got the right light in the bathroom. That's the difference. So people form these opinions of you and they deal with you accordingly. Like if they see you all on vacation all the time, or you happy with your family, hey, listen, let me call a couple dollars. They don't know that you broke. They don't know that
you just look. You just did the extra to do this trip with your family.
Right.
Whatever you did to do this trip with your family, you just did it. You took. I don't know, you did your
took some money out your
401k loan, whatever case may be.
Right.
So again, it's not saying that anything is wrong with posting your vacations, posting that you got a new car or a new house, or posting your glamour pictures of your hair done and your nails done. And there's nothing wrong with that because I do it. Trust me, I do it too. But when it takes over and it takes a control of your life, that's when it becomes the issue.
Right.
When you like, I can't post without no makeup, or I can't post that I'm feeling upset, or I can't post that I'm angry, or whatever the case may be. Even if you ain't posted, you probably just shared it with only people in your circle.
Right.
That don't mean you're deceiving yourself. You just shared it with only your people that you wanted to share
social
it with.
media, you know what I'm saying? Some things you should really keep to yourself.
Right, because once it's out there forever.
Right. But
we could delete and filter a picture, but like this right here, we cannot delete or filter nothing.
and there's people out there that do, that's their mission. I want to, seem, they're lying to themselves. I want to seem like a big wig. I got all of this stuff going on. But then when tragedy strikes, you know what I mean? Because everything comes out. Like, you see the people that's online and they got money up to their head, blah, 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 and they got all this stuff. But then the minute they pass, their family's like, hey, listen, we got to go fund me for Ray Ray.
Yeah.
What happened to all that money that he had? You know what I mean? He was always online, got money, drugs, and all this other stuff, but you got to go fund me to pay his funeral expenses. You know what I mean? So it don't add up. So the truth is going to come out. Somebody sees the real you, no matter what image that you're putting up on online. People see the real you. I've been speaking to people that, this is not the guy that's online. No, this is the real me now. I cuss like a sailor. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you're not going to get no spiritual.
Obviously, you ain't been your bros.
Really, but people gravitate to where the level that they vibrate on. I have some people like I can put something up and they think that I'm going at somebody and I get 100. Tell them, blah blah blah. I put something positive, I get nothing. And I can actually tell who's going to respond to what post. If I put some real positive, there's a group of people that I can think about right now that's going to like it. Everybody else is going to stay silent. Let me act like seem like I'm telling somebody off. This specific group is going to come.
Right.
You know what I mean? People gravitate towards that stuff. So there's nothing that you can do about it. There's really nothing that you can do about it. This is the way people operate in social media. And I hate for people to say that this is the way of the world. Social media is an option. Opposed to lying to the world, you could just not post anything.
Right, because some people, you get people that's on Facebook but don't post. They just see what other people don't, but they won't post nothing. But they just see what you get. People that don't even have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Period. They're like, I don't want it. I don't want it. It's people,
I got a partner of mine he's nowhere on social media, and I understand that because it alleviates a lot of the drama that comes with social media. But even having conversations at this last round, Meet the Author event I did, it was a lady talking about, I teach women how to go through social media and check out their boyfriends and blah, 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 and all that other good stuff. I said, okay, but what if he's not on Facebook? Then she's stuck.
Wow.
Then she's stuck. Like, okay, so what happened to all your investigative skills? If he's not posting, you don't catch him liking on anybody. Just because somebody has a social media account don't mean that they're going to cheat. They can be cheating online.
Right, that's
you know what I'm saying? They can be cheating online. You're not always going to catch somebody. Even in my last relationship, right? Towards the end, I already knew it was over. I was leaving anyway. She started to go like back before we was even together and started, oh, look, you put heart eyes. And it's like, oh, look, that was 12 weeks ago. We've been together for 8. Mind your business. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? That was before you entered my life. So, you know, people use social media for whatever they want. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's all voluntary, because if you shut that computer off and nobody knows what you're doing, you can go seek help. You can switch your life around. You can go from the mansion to the mini mansion. You can go from the Benz to the Honda with a smooth transition, and you don't owe anybody anything. But the more you feel like you have to project to the world and show everybody what you got going on, and that's the downfall of it. Once you posting all the time, like, you know, I read a post that's saying, like, you know, you posting all these pictures of your boyfriend and your baby. When you break up, you owe the public an explanation. Well, hold up, you know what I mean?
You had it all right.
Yeah, you was all in your relationship. You was all in the birth of your baby. You owe us an explanation now.
Or when you get the ones that say, everybody in my business, but you posting your business.
Oh, your
I know you
business.
see that a lot.
Oh my God.
So what you think, like, just what's your signs, just as a person, a human being yourself, that you see that somebody is self-deceiving? Like, they're not being, like, what you point out to be like, nah, this person ain't really being honest.
Well, I mean,
because when we had that conversation, I think we had a topic before that when you first meet somebody, you're never
You mean the representative?
your representative. I'm not just talking about relationship, I'm just talking about friendships, or you just meet somebody one-on-one. Like, what's
I don't know. I pay attention to a lot of things. You know what I mean? And I don't deceive myself, because I know behind these profile pictures, there's real people, there's real lives that go on. So I never go in that expectation thinking that everything is all good. But I mean, just telltale signs. It's just like, I can see if somebody just posting, you know, all the time when they look glammed up and stuff like that. You know it's a front. You know what I mean?
Right.
What else do I notice? I mean, just stuff like, okay, so I used to watch a lot of Instagram accounts where you would have these guys trying to make it seem like they have money. So they'll go and they'll you know, rent a car or whatever the case is. Like, there was this guy, oh yeah, I'm in this Ferrari. So I'm scrolling through, no other Ferrari around, no other Ferrari since that day. So you were lying, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know, once you study people enough, you can kind of tell the nonsense, but especially if it's somebody you know, like, come on, knock it off. Like, why are you online doing that? That ain't your Gucci bag.
Right.
You know, you got that belt from Canal Street. It's a Walla Uchi. It ain't a Gucci. It's a Walla Uchi belt. You know, so I don't know. I mean, there's different telltale signs that you can tell from people, but the more you know a person, the more you know the real meat of a person. You know what I mean?
Right.
But people hide things for a long time. You know what I mean? They really can't. But time reveals all of that stuff. Yeah. Agree? No?
Yeah, definitely agree. Yeah.
Everybody's in their head thinking.
Sorry, I was because I was
No.
also thinking too, like, in the age and day of social media, even if you study all the pictures in the world that person posts, it can still be a complete total lie. Somebody else's lie.
Right.
What the advice that I give, especially because everybody meets people on social media, but nobody admits to it. You know, it's like this big taboo. Like, oh, I don't, you know, be in nobody's inbox. But a lot of times, my engagements come from people being in my inbox, whether they turn into good friends or whether they attempt to date or we attempt to date. Somebody's meeting on social media. You know what I mean? So, I almost forgot my point. Where was I going with that?
Social media is awesome.
No, it's cool, but in regards to social media, like, you meet people on social media. You can use social media for either good or bad things.
Exactly.
It's not necessary. It doesn't have to be a taboo thing to meet somebody. No, it absolutely doesn't. It's about the person. So if a person is, you know, it takes time to get to know a person. Whether you on Black Planet or social, whatever the other dating sites is, Cat, Plenty of Fish, and all that other stuff. Take the time to know people. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to rush into anything. You know what I mean? So, because time reveals all things. You know, you stall people out. I mean, I've frustrated women to some point, because I'm like, I'm not gonna, you know, start automatically taking you out to dinner. I don't really know. You have a conversation with me on the phone.
Right.
You know, it's just like, oh, let's go out, let's meet for coffee. No, I need my 50 cents.
Right.
And I'm not.
I was about to say, what they hungry?
No, I'm not one of them free meal brothers. No, I would like to take out my friend. I'm not going to take out some stranger just so you can waste my time. You know what I mean? So again, we can be friends. Let's build the friendship, and then we can go ahead and go. And then I don't feel bad. You know what I mean? About taking you to dinner and not hearing from you again. I mean, we're friends. We establish some respect. We establish some type of rapport. Don't just think okay, I like you, let's meet up for dinner. No, okay, well, right now, before we get somewhere, we going Dutch or French or whatever it is.
Right.
You're going to pay for yours, I'm going to pay for mine. Hey, listen, it might not be right, but I'm living in my truth.
But I was waiting for you to finish, because I was about to say, so there you go. You are showing your self-actualization.
You ain't getting no free meal.
You're not self-deceiving. And you know what? And at the end of the day, you do that. That's when that female could say either, you know what, he cool,
right,
I'm rocking, or either he's not. Pretty much.
Right,
and then you know what, when she's telling her story or she's talking to you, she could be like, you know what, you was real from day one.
Exactly.
Real from day one.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm going to live in my truth.
Well, we got a couple more people that have joined us. Kiki, hey sis, thanks for joining. Hey, Dr. J. We also have Quentin. Thank you, honey. Who else do we have? Rasheen, hey family. Serena, thank you so much for joining. Shanika, what's up, girl? And I said everyone auditions for the position. Everyone.
Maya Cole, yeah.
Oh, Maya.
Yeah, she said everyone audition for a position.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Maya. I don't even know what I thought I was reading just now, girl. I apologize. I messed your name all up.
So everybody for audition, hey, what about me? What about me? And I guess
take your number and get to the back of the line.
No, but listen.
But when she said it that way, you think about it, because
we missed that step. We missed that step. I swear to God, we missed that step because we.
But that's the representative, ain't it?
No, but once you get to know a person, you get past that representative. You have a better idea because once if I'm going to see you or date you every Thursday night, I'm going to get that Thursday representative for a long ass time. You know what I mean? I'm going to get that Thursday representative. But when you spend time talking with a person, you kind of understand their ideologies, the things that they believe in. And if it's not, matter of fact, oh my God, I got an example. I was talking to a female. We liked each other. I mean, I was feeling her hard body, and she hit me with this question. Now, listen, mind you, I believe in Jesus, but I just believe some other stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So she hit me with this question, like, do you believe in Jesus? I'm like, oh, God, this is going south real quick. So I explained to her my viewpoints on religion and all that other stuff. And she came to me, she's like, you know what? You don't believe the way I do, so I can't, date you. You know what? I was hurt, but I respected it. I said, you know what? I can respect that. But had I just been dating her, we would have got 3 months, 4 months in, and I spent all this money, you know what I mean? And then to find out I'm not dating you, like, Ma, something got killed. You got my money back. Listen, we need to discuss some stuff. But I would rather know sooner than later whether I'm compatible with some person. So that hit and miss stuff I can't really do. You know what I mean? I'd rather, hey, let me call you let me text you throughout the day, whatever the case is, so we can really develop. Because if it falls apart, what you've established is a foundation for a friendship. You've established respect, you've established boundaries. Because everybody say, I want to be in love with my friend, but people play so many games in that regard. Like, I text you, I don't want them to think I'm thirsty. Let me hit him back in a half hour. You know what I mean? And, it's just a lot of games that people play. But if you stay engaged with a person, you get to know them quicker, and then you can make an informed decision sooner, opposed to just, I'm dating many people and I'm a Thursday person and this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? So,
do you think it's wrong to date many people?
No. There's only two ways to date. Either you can date one-on-one. If it don't work, you move on to the next person. It is. It's very definitive. Right, but if you're dating, like, I don't agree with dating multiple people and you're seeing them sexually.
No.
You know what I mean? That's just nasty. But I understand that concept. But the funny thing is, I lived in Europe for 2 years, and there's no such thing as dating in that regard. What they do is they go out in groups. So if we're hanging out in this group every Saturday night, we're going to gravitate towards each other. And the minute our hands touch or we kiss, we go together. That's it. So we've been hanging out for a year already. I know you. You know what I'm saying? And that's that. They don't. They had many conversations with me. I don't understand your American way of dating. It's so, But if we hang out in groups, there's no pressure. You know what I mean? Everybody's paying for their own food. I've gotten to know you already. And if we like each other, we'll gravitate towards each other. And by the time, we lock eyes or whatever the case is, hey, that's it. I already know you. you know, I'm just dating my homie now. So we good to go.
You have a foundation.
Yes, you built that foundation without the whole pressure. Because again, as a man, like if I'm really feeling a woman, it's just like, you know, I can try to be a gentleman, but I'm gonna follow the flow of the relationship. But it takes the pressure away. Okay, do I go in for a kiss now, or am I speeding too fast? Like it takes away all of that nonsense. So I understand when people date multiple people at the same time, but if you don't handle it right, like listen, okay, so once you make your choice, you need to send out a memo to the other jokers that you've been dating. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are not strong enough to have that conversation. Hey, listen, you know, number 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is a group message to all of you guys who are no longer be interested in dating you. Number 1 is it. You know, govern yourselves accordingly. But no people don't have that conversation. So they say, oh, you know what? Let me just do one at a time. But doing it that way, you can waste a lot of time. If I spend 3 months for it not to last, I wasted 3 months on it. You know what I mean? So if I kind of like, let me just Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I'm gonna go out, or if I need somebody to go to the movies with, you get to know them. But if you're just dating and screwing everybody, nah, that's nasty. In my opinion, I'm not judging. I'm not judging.
Right. To each his own. That's what I always say.
Yeah, it is.
To each his own. Like, I mean, it's no right or wrong. I give my opinion, but it's no really right or wrong. Because I'm pretty sure the way I went with doing certain things, people could say I was wrong. But at the end of the day, it was my way.
Yeah, it's right. As long as you was living in your truth. Because again, I can date like a gentleman, multiple women. But I best believe if I'm not celibate, I got a booty buddy in the sky. You know what I'm saying? But again, people don't understand that. But if I have a situation to where, hey, listen, we're not going to be together, but we good sexually, we're going to keep that here. And then I'm going to be the perfect gentleman over here. And I'm not pressing you for nothing. Because the minute I drop you off, I'm going to see my booty buddy and get my stress off. And that's going to be what it is. So once I choose a woman, you cut that off and you go into that. That's just how I date it. You know what I mean? And some people might see something wrong with that, but that's my truth. Like, they say, oh, well, I'm celibate, and, you know, okay, well, you know, I'm not. So, can't do nothing about that. You know? I'm not the one for you.
Just like the lady said, we view religion differently. Gotta go.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand and respect that, you know. Well, any more questions? No?
So, no. Any
more questions? Jeez, we talk forever, guys.
No. So we want to thank everyone for joining. Daryl Tay, hello, Daryl. Daryl Tay said hello, all.
Hey, Daryl. Hey, Tyrone Smith.
But we want to thank everyone for joining Jazz and T in the Ladies Lounge on Jetsonz Radio DC with Faraji Toure.
Yep.
Talking about self-accusation and self-deception. We guilty of both.
Everybody.
I mean, you might not be lying, though, you know, about your lifestyle now. Hopefully you're not. But at some point you did. I don't care. You was 25 when you did it. At some point you lied about your lifestyle or what you was doing. But self-accusation versus self-deception. Living your truth. Just always living your truth.
Keep it simple. Life is so much easier when you just keep it simple and living your truth. And be who you are. Just be authentic. And I'm not going to say real. Just be authentic. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Be who you are.
I guess as much as you can.
As much as you allow yourself to.
As much as you can.
So like she said, thank you all for joining us. We're going to wrap this thing here up.
We have a comment.
We do have a comment.
Said, good show tonight. Y'all speaking truth and facts.
Thank you, Carmen. Thank you,
Carmen. Thank you.
And we hope to see you all back here Sunday night at 7 p.m. You have a good one.
Hold on, one second, real quick.
Okay.
Faraji, would you like to do a closing?
And your contact information and your book information.
All right. So you can buy any of my books. I have 2 paperbacks and 2 ebooks that you can find on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, iBooks. Just type in Faraji Toure, Faraji Toure, and you can go to farajitoure.com. On Facebook, I'm Faraji Toure as well. You can send me a message or add me there. That's it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Them your only contacts?
Yeah, I'm good.
You gave your Facebook and your Instagram and all that good stuff?
On everything, I am Faraji Toure. I am Faraji Toure. So yeah, that's all my social media.
All
And
right.
thank you for joining JT Ladies Lounge.
Thank you,
All right. Thank you
guys.
for having me. Nice.